Hey movie buffs, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to narrate a series named Marry My Husband. The scene begins with Kang Ji-won sitting on a hospital bed. She is suffering from the last stage of her cancer. Soon, her best friend, Young Soo-min, visits her in the hospital and encourages her to stay strong. Ji-won goes on to reveal to her that her husband has been cheating on her. Later, Kang Ji-won starts to think about her disturbing married life with her husband, Park Min-hwan. He has no regard for her and her dreams. He, along with his mother, treats Ji-won quite badly and curses her for not being able to give birth to a child. She is always humiliated by him and her mother-in-law, even when they learn about Ji-won's cancer. They make her do all the office and domestic work while Park Min-hwan quits his job to invest in the stock market. It is quite evident that Ji-won has a pretty unhealthy life with her husband and in-laws. The episode then shows the hospital telling Ji-won that her guardian needs to pay the bills to continue her treatment. Ji-won then tries to call her husband, but he does not receive the call. So, she decides to go to her house in a taxi to confront him about the hospital bill. When she gets off the taxi, the driver tells her that she will have a great life ahead. However, when Ji-won enters her home, she witnesses something horrible. Her husband is cheating on her with her best friend, Young Soo-min. They are also discussing the insurance money they will receive after Ji-won's death. She gets furious and confronts the two. She then threatens her husband that she will reveal everything to the authorities, so that he does not get the insurance money. Thereafter, Park Min-hwan gets flustered and, in a fit of rage, pushes Ji-won onto a glass table. She gets heavily injured and succumbs to her unfortunate demise. However, right after her death, she wakes up in 2013, 10 years before her death. She is in the office where her husband, who is her boyfriend at that time, also works. Seeing him and also her best friend at the office, she completely loses her composure and soon runs away. During the entire chaos, one person is helping her throughout, and this is her boss, Yoo Ji-hyuk. After reaching home, Ji-won realizes that she has traveled back in time. She also realizes that the taxi driver from before was none other than her father, who seems to have helped her somehow. Now, Ji-won knows what will happen in the future. She knows that she will get betrayed by her husband and best friend. She also notices that whatever is supposed to happen in the future will happen no matter what, but she can change her fate by making someone else take over her destiny. Thus, she plans to take revenge for her death by manipulating her best friend, Young Soo-min, to seize her destiny by making her marry her husband. She begins to realize Soo-min's selfishness. Before she died and traveled back to 2013, she was unaware of Soo-min's meanness and cruelty. But now that she knows what will happen in the future, she begins to see how Soo-min manipulated her and always tried to upstage her in the office. Ji-won is determined to execute her plan. Thus, she begins to ignore Soo-min and starts making friends with the other good women in the office. She realizes that these women are helpful and decent human beings. Together with them, she tries to establish a healthy working environment for herself. Meanwhile, Soo-min gets furious at Ji-won's recent behavior, as she can clearly see that Ji-won is ignoring her. In between these incidents, Ji-won also thinks about her high school time when she was bullied by other mean girls. It looks like she has been enduring a lot of mental pain over the years. Later on, Ji-won presents a brilliant idea to her manager at the office. However, he rejects the idea without even looking at it properly. In the past, Soo-min stole the idea and got it approved by the manager. Ji-won knows this now, so she comes up with a plan. She talks to Young Juran, who is the right hand of the manager, about the project and offers to work with her on it. Later that day, she shows the same project to the manager and tricks him into accepting that it is a good project. She gets excited that she will now be able to work on this project with Juran. However, Soo-min does not let this slide. She has a plan to take over this project. Soo-min takes the manager out to have dinner and drinks with her. There, she manipulates him to take over Ji-won's idea and let her be a part of the project. Thus, it looks like Ji-won has to battle it out with Soo-min to do the project. Later, Soo-min and Jin-won's boyfriend at the time, Park Min-hwan, tell her separately that they are coming to her place for a night stay. At that moment, Ji-won gets this excellent idea of making them come together so that they end up starting their affair right away. So, she plans to get them drunk and make them spend the night together. However, at the last moment, Soo-min cancels her plan to go to Ji-won's place at night. Meanwhile, Ji-won enters her home to see her boyfriend, Park Min-hwan, already there. She decides to leave the place while he is taking a shower. But, unfortunately, He comes out and tries to throw himself on Jiwon. Jiwon gets flustered and scared as her then-boyfriend Park Min-hwan tries to spend some intimate time with her. However, the sudden arrival of a food delivery man saves Jiwon from the situation. She somehow manages to get Min-hwan out of her apartment. We see that Yoo Ji-hyuk is the one who sent the delivery man to Jiwon's apartment to save her. Later on, Yoo Ji-hyuk has a private conversation with his grandfather. His grandfather discloses that he will soon become the owner of UNK. They also argue certain responsibility issues. The exact reason for their argument is not revealed during their conversation. Ji-hyuk tells his grandfather that he likes someone, but it is one-sided. His past behaviors and actions show that the person he likes is Kang Jiwon. He has been helping her from the very beginning since she traveled back 10 years before her unfortunate death. Scene shifts to Soo-min invites Jiwon to a restaurant. It is a high school reunion. Jiwon hesitates as she already knows how humiliated she will be if she goes there. Back home, Jiwon wonders how to make herself pretty for the reunion. The day arrives and Soo-min reaches the reunion and meets a warm welcome. The others diss on Jiwon. Someone recalls that Soo-min used to like Park Min-hwan and they assume Jiwon is pursuing Min-hwan on purpose. Jiwon finally arrives at the restaurant and everyone is stunned to see her all decked up. The scene jumps back in the past to the previous day. Jiwon agrees to meet with Hu-yi and her colleague for a bite. On the way, she sees the real version of the earrings Soo-min gave her and realizes how different they are. These earrings were given to Jiwon so that she gets humiliated by her schoolmates. At present, Hu-yi meets Jiwon and shows her that she owns an authentic pair of the same earrings, and she can borrow hers for the reunion. Jiwon opens up about being bullied and Hu-yi encourages her to question why she was bullied. Jiwon realizes she needs to go to the reunion and hear the bullies talk about her. Hu-yi then gets Jiwon a complete makeover, even cutting her hair really short. Meanwhile, Min-hwan is at a campsite and shamelessly flirts with other girls. At night, Jiwon wakes up from a bad dream but is comforted by the presence of Hu-yi sleeping next to her. She gets a message from her manager that says she has to work on her proposal with Soo-min. Soo-min then calls and asks Jiwon if she can redo her proposal. Jiwon flat out refuses and even tells Soo-min to use honorifics while speaking to her at work. After the call, we see that Soo-min is dining with the manager at the moment and he even cancels Jiwon's name on the printed proposal. The next day, Jiwon makes her grand entrance to the restaurant and pretends to be surprised to see the reunion. Everybody is shocked to see how beautiful she looks. Someone comments on her earrings and everyone sees that Jiwon is wearing the authentic ones while Soo-min's are fake. Turns out, there are varying levels of fake jewelry and Soo-min's were just a better quality fake than the ones she gifted Jiwon. But Jiwon's new friend, Hu-yi, let her borrow the real earrings. Soo-min is, naturally, annoyed at the turn of events. Jiwon heads to the washroom and, as in her previous life, her bullies enter and talk about how Soo-min is too nice to Jiwon. As before, the woman named Yi-ji starts checking the stalls for Jiwon. But this time, instead of cowering, Jiwon steps out and makes herself known. She asks them what she ever did to warrant such behavior. They blame Jiwon for making Soo-min break up with Yoonho and even stealing Min-hwan from her, and how Soo-min supported her in her career. Jiwon proves it all wrong by showing her company's card and contacting her boyfriend to let them know they have been dating for 7 years. Meanwhile, Yoonho shows up just in time to prove that he and Soo-min never dated. A flashback shows Ji-hyuk explaining to Yoonho about the misunderstanding at the reunion. At present, Yoonho confirms he never dated Soo-min. He asks Jiwon does she loves him and in response, Jiwon runs out. Outside, Ji-hyuk sees her from his car. He also sees Yoonho chasing her and blurting out that she was her first love back in the days and the episode ends. With that we have come to the end of our movie. If you liked the video make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, so you never miss out on our latest recaps. We're here to turn your movie nights into an unforgettable experience.